What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We're over on the test server now. Let me make sure we have that. There we go. We have the image of the test server stuff up, but we're going to be testing out Kawn. So Kawn Branchbreaker is going to be in tomorrow's Deck of Fate event. I plan to go for this champion as soon as it comes out, basically. Whether he's going to be amazing or not, I want to get him on the live servers and test him out. Hopefully his soul is available in this event as well. I imagine it will be, but either way, let's go ahead and put a 5-star soul on him. We're not going to put any blessing actually on him yet, and we're going to compare him against 3 other defense-based nukers, the most popular ones that I can think of, which is Rigosh, Harima, and Stoutus. Now, one thing you'll notice is he is the only Void Affinity defense-based nuker. He's actually one of the only defense-based nukers who are Void Affinity that I can think of. There's not a ton of defense-based nukers. I'm just assuming he's a nuker because the rest of his kit isn't really that special. So we're going to see how this actually works out. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read over his kit. We're going to jump in there. I'm going to test each of these champions with the exact same set of gear. No masteries. Rigosh does have a blessing, but it's not, other than the stats, it's not doing anything for him. I may have to compensate for that depending on how off his damage is, but I don't have a Rigosh that is no blessing, unfortunately. So, since I can't take it off, we're just going to have to deal with this. It's going to be an extra chunk of defense, as well as an extra 600 defense, plus an extra 38% crit damage. So, we'll have to remember that when it comes to his damage overall. But I did want to include him because he's a very solid champion. So let's read over Kawn's kit. I'm going to try to timestamp down below after I finish doing the tests, in case you're somebody who just wants to see the actual, maybe arena builds for this champion or arena testing of this champion or some different testing of this champion besides just the, okay, we're hitting with the A1, hitting with the A2, so on and so forth. So looking at his kit, his A1 attacks one enemy. Before attacking, removes one random buff from the target. This effect cannot be resisted if the champion is under a shield buff. He's going to be a very big fan of shields, basically. Places a block revive debuff if this attack kills an enemy. Increases the value of any shield buffs on this champion by 30% of the damage dealt. Cannot increase by more than 10,000. Before I saw that, I got a little bit excited, but then Plarium learned from their mistakes in the past and says cannot increase by more than 10,000, which is really not that big of a shield if we're going to be pushing his damage very high. I don't think. But either way, let's go into his A2. His A2 is a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. It's going to attack. Also, this does place a block revive if it kills an enemy. So that's very impactful potentially, depending on how hard it hits. His A2 is an AoE attack, ignores a percentage of each target's defense equal to, this gets a little bit confusing to me, equal to 50% of the difference between this champion's max HP and any shields on them. Okay. Also destroys each target's max HP by 20% of the damage inflicted. This effect will ignore any shield buffs. And then places a shield buff proportional to this champion's defense and a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns. So this right here tells me possible Hydra Mischief tank. However, the rest of his kit doesn't really say Hydra whatsoever. Unless he does crazy damage on this A1 ability, I don't see this champion as a Hydra damage dealer. This A2 ability could possibly be like, okay, a Hex or a Provoke on him, but it doesn't really seem to be so strong that's going to be great. And his kit doesn't really bring anything extra to Hydra. And this is kind of a dangerous thing because if they steal the counterattack and spread it, well, now you're in a rough situation, honestly. And then his passive removes one random buff from this champion at the start of their turn. At the start of every 4th turn by this champion, removes all debuffs from them and places a 60% increased defense on them for 2 turns. Increases his champion's defense by 3% for each debuff removed by this skill. So, honestly, my first initial thoughts of this champion is he's not that good. Not for sure who rated him so highly. Maybe it's just default test server stuff. But I don't think he's that great. Just from the first sounds, we'll have to see what his damage actually is. But this could be so much better if something in his kit gave him an extra turn. If he had an extra turn on a mechanical in the A3, places a shield plus a strengthen, and then the counterattack on himself, and then he goes into this A2, okay, now we're kind of talking about a champion who could do some pretty cool combos. If this happened every time he took a turn, okay, well, pretty crazy stuff, or even every other turn, or just comboed with the extra turn stuff, this could be a pretty strong passive. But for now, like in the arena, you're not very likely to even get 4 turns from a champion, possibly, depending on how you're actually playing. With speed meta being so predominant, or in a go-second team where this champion probably would shine, this is going to be fairly difficult. Though the buff removal could be cool, though until it's the 4th turn, he's only going to be removing one buff each, or one debuff each time. So it's going to take a while to scale this up until the 4th turn happens. I feel like the 4th turn is just so far away. At the start of every 4th turn by this champion, unless it's like every 4th turn, like if the allies have taken four turns, then he takes a turn, and then it removes everything. Okay, we're talking about a little bit of a different situation there, but I don't think that's the case. So what we'll do here, like I said, is all the masters are removed. That's just my first look at his kit, my first initial thoughts. We're going to test out who first? Stoutus. So Stoutus, we'll jump in here to Dragon. We'll go to Dragon Stage 6. I already have the defense-based nukers lined up. Let's make sure this Stoutus is the correct Stoutus. 215, 205% crit damage, and let's see. So what I want to do is I'm going to test, okay, apparently we're going to test Stoutus's, what was that, A3? Yeah, we're testing his A3 ability. So we already have that one finished. Stoutus A3. Stoutus A3 hit for 181k. So we're going to go ahead and do his A2, I guess, here. Now, he does place increased defense on himself. So that is something interesting to remember as well. So back out of this one, his A2. A2 hit for 119k. And we're just going to do one test on each of their skills. A3, A2, A1. Now, for the Branchbreaker himself, we'll hit on the Cold Heart. She has probably pretty low defense. That is what, 23,000. And then A1 is 23k. So just one test. There's going to be some variations between the damage, but hopefully this gives us an idea of who scales the best. So that is Stoutus test number 1. Test number 2 is going to be on Harima. Now, something interesting to pay attention to always is their base defense levels. So Stoutus is 1454. Harima's 1531. Branchbreaker is 1465. And then Ragash is 1443. So it's Ragash lowest, Stoutus, Branchbreaker, and Harima. So Harima's bringing more stuff than just nukes. So if she's hitting hard, then of course she's just going to be miles better than Branchbreaker in all ways that I can imagine. We do have a 33% defense aura. That's going to work for all these champions. So let's go ahead and get Harima in here with no blessing as well. We'll go the A2 on the Cold Heart. We'll back out. Harima. We did 32k. And then we'll go, that was the A2 skill. And then we'll go the A3. Now, her defense does scale over the course of a fight, so that's going to change things a lot as well. 105 for the A3. 105. Put 104. Okay, there we go. And then we'll go for the A1. This gives me a good idea of how a champion looks. Some of you guys may enjoy this part. Some of you may not. Just let me know down below. I think most people seem to enjoy it, though. So 19k on her A1 ability. Basically 20k. Let's call it 20k. It was 19.9. So 20k works for me. Now, let's go to Ragash. Put Ragash in the exact same gear. We're going to put him in this. Now, if his numbers are way off, because he's going to have more crit damage, he's going to have more defense. But if his numbers are way off, he's also going to place decreased defense. So I think he's going to come out as seeing the best results. So maybe he's like just disqualified. Yeah, 321,000. We're not going to be able to test him because that decreased defense on everything. We'd have to apply decreased defense on everybody. So the champions are going to be a little bit skewed because of that. Let's see what his A1 hits for, though. Ragash's A1 hits for basically 30,000. So strong A1 for sure. Ragash A1, 31k. So he is Spirit Affinity. Ragash is. So he does struggle against some of the Magic Affinity nukers in the arena, which is going to be a big deal. He's not so bad against the Duchesses and Pythions in the world. The newer Magic Affinity nukers, he's going to struggle. But Ragash is an amazing champion. He's just going to look way better than what he actually is because of being empowered, plus placing the decreased defense on everybody. Since I'm not testing with decreased defense, I could do the test with decreased defense, but then it kind of takes away from Ragash because he's bringing that in his kit. So let's just go ahead and visit Branchbreaker here and see what happens. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We'll try to throw him into some arena stuff as well. Now, Branchbreaker stats are the following: 216 speed, 205 crit damage, 5875, 5875 for the defense. So his A3 doesn't do damage. We're going to hit with the A2 first, and then we'll go with the A3 into the A2. So the A2 alone, Branch A2 hits for 101k. Oh, that doesn't seem too great, honestly. Let's go with the A3 into the A2. Now, I don't know how this is calculated. Like, what is the the difference between this, okay? I don't understand really what's going on there, to be honest. So now we'll go with his A2. All right, so A2 hits for 147,000. What in the world? A2 with buff hits for 147K. Oh my goodness, I'm like not even, honestly, I don't know what the other content creators did as the tests for this dude, but so far I'm feeling like this guy is just bad. His A1 removes one random buff. Let's see what it hits for. 20K. Okay, so about the same as all the other ones. 20K. So Stoutus's, this is the list right here. We have Ragash hitting for 31,000. Harima's A1 hitting for 20K. She's going to scale her defense. He's going to scale his defense, but much slower than Harima and much less controlled. Stoutus is going to hit for harder than Branch as well. His is a double hit, which is nice. He does have some defense boosted. So Stoutus is actually a little skewed as well. Let me see. Do I have another Stoutus who does not have a blessing on him? We can test, of course, Branch with the blessing as well. No, there's no more Stoutus. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll just take Branch. And let's go ahead and put a blessing on him. So what blessing would I want to use? We don't really need Polymorph because we don't have a 6-star blessing for him. We don't need Nature's Wrath, nothing like that. We could go something like Lightning Cage to protect the buffs that we have on him. I don't really need Ward of the Fallen. Soul Reap could be decent. Do Life Harvest. Let's just do this for the heck of it. Let's see what he does with the extra defense and the extra crit damage. So the A1 on the Cold Heart, 21,000. So it's still not even hitting as hard as Stoutus's did. Stoutus's did 23,000. Let's go for a A3. And then we'll go into the A2 after this. Okay, 41K, destroy max HP. But like no max HP was destroyed. I don't even see it. It's like such a small sliver of max HP destroyed because he wasn't hitting that hard. 177K on the A2. So honestly, I feel like the way his kit is written, it's difficult for me at least to understand how much defense is being ignored. Ignores a percentage of each target's defense equal to 50% of the difference between this champion's max HP and any shields on them. So how I understand, okay, so if he has 100,000 HP and then 20,000 shield, right? Is that what it would be? There'd be a 20,000 point difference between the shield and the HP, which would be 20% of his max HP would be in shield, basically. And then 50% of that would be like 10% defense ignore, which is not that crazy. So in order to get a really high defense ignore, you had to have a really big shield, right? If you had a 50,000 HP shield and a 50,000 HP 8 max HP, so 50,000 max HP, 50,000 shield, then that's going to be 100% difference. So 50% of that is going to be 50% defense ignore. If I'm doing that correctly, it's going to be hard to get anything very significant with this. It's also hard to know how much of shield you're getting, unless there's data mined information about this. But proportional to this champion's defense doesn't mean, as far as I'm aware, just one-to-one copy. And if it does, then that means, okay, well, we're looking at a 64 divided by 47. Is that right at all? I don't know, 13%? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's going to be difficult to get a very high number, I believe, with that. Let's go ahead and put some more gear on him and see if we can make him hit a little bit harder. Actually, a lot bit harder. It's really what I'm looking for. We need him to be smacking very hard because right now, he doesn't seem worth going for, which is not a bad thing. I mean, honestly, if you're tight on resources for this fusion, then a champion who's difficult to go for is actually probably what you're hoping for. We'll go defense. I don't really want. Let's see. Now wait though. There's actually a little bit more to this. So this changes max HP and any shields on them. So let's try something that's slightly different. So now if we did Necrit in here, so this is just the testing the champion part now. So we could force big shields on him. So now we can just do the Necrit stuff. So are we gonna have a pretty big hit here? Hopefully, right? Okay, 55,000. Now his damage is being pushed up. All right, so now we're maybe talking about something that could potentially work. Let's go for a Krisk as well. Yeah, Krisk, however you're gonna say that. Let's go for, let's put Krisk in here. This will get me as close to 100% defense ignore as possible. So Necrit right now has a, let's see, 127,000 times 0.3, a 38,000 shield on him. Krisk is going to put a shield equal to, I believe, 50% of his HP. So what I actually might do here, it's like Krisk defaults puts a shield on, equal to 50% of his HP. So if I was to take him, priority sets HP, and then just say, okay, we're gonna, wait, was that a quad roll speed? No, it's quad roll defense. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa there. That's awesome. We're gonna go HP, 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 HP. Basically, give him such an incredibly large shield that he's going to be ignoring as close to 100% HP as possible. So, 100% defense as possible. This is way exaggerated. It's never really going to happen, but I'm kind of curious to see what happens here. I really hope for him just to one-shot the whole wave. He didn't do that. He did hit for some good damage, though. No decreased defense, and he smacked really hard. Dang, okay, that's a pretty solid hit, honestly. But let's see here. This will be true damage, right? Like it should be. We basically have to double his HP to make it 100% defense ignore. So right now we have what? We have Krisk with a 45,000 shield, Necrit's with a 38, and then Frolny's with a 30. So what is it? 40 plus 60, basically it's 100,000 HP. And he's sitting on 50,000 HP. Yeah, so we're 200% more, right? 200% of his HP should be 100% defense ignore. At this point, he's doing true damage at this point. There's no way he's not. So let's see if he actually is hitting, or how hard he's actually hitting. No defense to be seen on the enemies, so that didn't do any difference, I don't think. Yeah, so the crushing rend didn't make a difference for him, which is kind of interesting. We'll go the Life Harvest again, just for the heck of it. So let's jump over into the arena. I think this is going to be really the place where you're going to use him. I'm thinking right now you could use him in a go second team with some big shields, like a big bolster set. If you have a bunch of bolster, he could potentially be very solid in that. We're going to try just something that can make him get a turn pretty quickly, basically. And let's see if we can just blast these champions. Now, maybe Cracking Roots is something you go on him. Well, I mean, that's in a go first team. So if you're doing go second, Cracking Roots wouldn't make sense. Let's see what we can hit for. Should kill the Armons and the Lysand. Okay, doesn't even kill the Armons. That's pretty disappointing, honestly. And Shields versus Narcissus is obviously not the best play. But the A1 ability is going to block Revive. Hit for 24,000. I just wish that he scaled up all of his damage with the shields. Like, if he's going to have a shield, scale up all of your damage, right? All right, so now we come through here. Do this. Let's actually just go for more damage. Get some extra defense on him. This tree won't make that much of a difference, though. Then more damage. So, let's try this again. Against the Harima. Or not the Harima, the Crixia. Now, I'm not going to go first here, though. So you can get locked out. This is going to ally a turn. 31k. I think the Helm Smasher did proc there. It said the ignore defense. It popped up. Let's go Shuzin plus Siphi. Obviously, not having Masters is going to make a difference on him, for sure. But we even saw it when he was having 100% defense ignore, so Helm Smasher or not isn't going to change the fact that it's just not great damage there. Okay, did kill Harima did kill the Crixia that time, which is great. But like I said, this is still the most, probably one of the more ideal setups for a speed team for him, basically. Do we kill this Taras? Okay, was it 40,000? Still not super impressive, honestly. We're not going to obviously kill him. He has so many buffs loaded up on him. Sleepy Sigfriend. Block actives. What does this do? Does this kill her? It doesn't quite kill her. It does 90,000 damage, which, I mean, 90,000 damage is good until you realize that other champions are going to be doing more. With this gear and everything, it's not like it's low quality stuff. It's not quite killing with that A1. And that ignores shields too, I think. Right? Increases the value of shield. Cannot be resisted if it's under shield. Okay, that's cool. So just steal something. Thought it ignored shields. Oh, it's the destroy max HP thing. That's not super special. Okay. Unkillable on the Siegfried. Interesting. Lock him out. Let me kill him. It's not really going to matter. We don't need to continue doing this. Let me get the point. His A1, 40,000 damage. So it's just not a great A1 skill. I mean, check this out, okay? We'll go to the same exact team. We'll go to Phoenix. Like I said, this is a epic champion. He does hit hard, though. He does hit very hard. If we go against a different team with no Marichka, let's go against MTG Jedi's team real quick. This should be a fantastic example. No Marius, so don't have to worry about getting messed up with that stuff. So we burn him. Boost him. He-Man's dead. Would have been 120,000 plus damage. Can I do damage through Stone Skin to him, I wonder? Like, can I kill a Cardinal through her Stone Skin? No, not quite. That was a little bit too confident. Maybe here. Dang, actually we did. We killed her. Oh my gosh, 100,000 damage, basically. So that's a lot. That was a whole lot of damage, actually. He's doing those double hits as well. We can do block debuffs AoE and block actives, right? He can't do a res now, at least. And then whatever this does, decrease defense. Very cool, very cool. Give him increased attack. Okay, now we just do this A1 down the Siegfried, which is not really what I need to do, honestly. It's not very cool, but you get the point. Phoenix does some good damage from his A1, and this other champion doesn't really have a super special A1. I don't know. I'm personally, guys, maybe I'm missing something. I know I didn't do his masters until recent, so let's go ahead and maybe see if I can squeeze some more damage. I want to give him an honest test, but I don't want to hype him up for sure. But I do want to make sure he gets an honest test. Now, if you don't have Necrit, let's see what his damage would be like then. So like I said, this is kind of like the peak of what you're probably going to be building towards. His defense, except, I mean, he has a lot of defense too. He's 8,000. Yeah, there's really not much to justify here. I mean, this is a defense necklace. Let's get that off. Let's put a crit damage necklace on him. Change that where it should be. 7,600. That was my bad. I put defense and I should have put crit damage. So a better banner. Yeah, so in doing his build, I realized that I did not optimize it to the best of my ability. So I'm going to try to put some more defense on him so I can make sure this is as good of a showcase as I can make it. He did have some really good stats still, but now it's even better. Like almost 300% crit damage. He has his masteries done. Like he's looking pretty solid. So we're going to try it a few times with Necrit. He does have his masteries. He has a Helm Smasher, all that kind of stuff. We have Shuzhen to boost him, Siphi for the increased defense. We don't have decreased defense applied to them. We don't really need that. I would hope if we needed that, then he's definitely not viable. But we use the A2 here. He does kill everybody, which is pretty significant, actually. I wonder if they have low defense or something. I'm not sure whose team this was. But let's continue through this. Let's see if this A1 can kill the Taras. No. 33,000 damage. Not quite. Not quite killing the Taras. This is Alacair's team. Let's try it against Easy's team. Not for sure if we're faster than him or not. We should be. Siphi's pretty daggone fast right now. Now let's see if he just kills everybody. He should. Like, I would expect for him to kill everybody. 100,000, 200,000, some very solid damage. This is like the best case scenario, though, basically. Like, there's not going to be any team. You can do some builds that are stronger, but there's not going to be any team that gives him more damage, I don't think. Unless I had like Heaven Cast on him. That's the only way he would have more damage than what he's currently doing. So while this may look good, it's not going to be the most realistic build whatsoever for him. 28k though on that A1 is just not impressive. 28k is very low. His passive never really gets any scaling for his defense. It's just gonna be very difficult to get that to actually scale. If we were to face a team that did some, this is, it's gonna be difficult to make this thing even scale because like these champions, especially who do block the, have like protected debuffs, I'm not gonna be able to do anything versus. I'm not gonna be able to do anything versus them. So there we go. We kill a Siphi. So we can one shot some champions. A defense based nuker, maybe if it's your only option. But I mean, I feel like there's just better champions for sure for him. Now with that said, let's go ahead and change the turn meter a little bit. We should be able to steal his buff. The buff steal does happen before he goes in. So like with unkillable and swift parry stuff, it actually is going to be pretty decent. Try to block her actives. There we go. That's good. Locked up my gear sets. Unfortunate, but that's okay. I really wish he stole the buffs and not just stripped them. Because a buff steal would be so much better. Now he has no increased defense anymore. He's hitting for a very, very small amount. 15,000 HP is like next to nothing. Very, very low on that. We get the increased defense back up. He is reducing your max HP though, which is good. This should kill nobody because we don't have the thing off cooldown yet. Carnage should die from this, 56,000. So he's taken down squishy champions pretty decent. But I want to try like a go second version with him as well. I think that'd be pretty realistic. We could go Marichka in a go second. We could go Mithrala. We could go Necrit. This is going to be like a decent go second team, so it's still not going to be super realistic. I'm just seeing that his damage is going to take a lot to get a very good result from it, basically. I don't really care what they use. He has no increased defense yet. I could have boosted with Mithrala, but let's try this. Actually, let's just try this. Get the increased crit rate on him first. And then we'll go and hit the Katuras. Probably, yeah, I wasn't expecting to do very much. Unfortunately, that's the case. He's just not doing that much damage. So we heal up. The Odin's back. Now we should be able to kill the Odin, right? Oh, well, with Mithrala, apparently. What's his A2 hit for? Kills the Siphi, that's pretty good. That's decent, I can take that. Good poisons on the Taras, makes him do that, okay. Let's go ahead and block Revival on the Marichka. Should kill her, right? Yeah, 50,000. So he's not doing surprising levels of damage whatsoever. Doing very, I feel like mid damage. Let's see. It should kill a Siphi, right? 44,000 though. 64,000. These are just my opinions, guys. You guys let me know if you see anything different with this champion that I may be missing. But basically, he just doesn't seem super impressive. Without increased defense, he's just not hitting super hard. You could bring increased defense in there. I would be expecting him to be doing better than he is with the numbers that he has. So, like I said, he has almost 8k defense, almost 300% crit damage. I'd be expecting a little bit higher from that, I feel like. Especially when you compare to other defense nukers. He doesn't, other than the block revival in the A1, I don't think he brings anything that's going to make him enticing to bring into these areas. Let's see if we can kill a Solus. No, we took him half HP, 30,000 damage. Actually, there is a defense-based nuker, Void. It's Tormin. Tormin would actually be a pretty decent champion to test versus him. But Tormin also brings a lot of other utility as well. Let's actually do that real quick. But the thing is even outside of damage, he just brings a lot more than the other dude because he's going to literally freeze the enemies. So let's go Tormin here. Let's see what he's hitting for. Let's see what the old Tormin's hitting for. Tormin's kit's definitely much more useful than, what's his name? So he hits for the A1. I mean, it's 30,000 on AoE skill with no increased defense. He is +2. That's the only difference. He is 5-star blessing, which is nice. Like, he's me putting freezes out, all kinds of stuff. Let's see what he hits for here. Doing the Narcies. AoE 20. Yeah, so he's hitting for the same damage AoE that, what's his name was hitting for, single target. It is a block revive skill, but Tormin's also freezing the enemies. If we try it here, let's see what happens. All right, so she gets some freezes off. Very cool. Buff up some. We have no increased defense. Maybe that's okay. Maybe not. Who knows? This is going to remove all buffs from the target. Let's see if it kills him. I mean, 40,000 damage. Not the highest damage skill, but it's going to also strip him and then do that as well. He also has no increased defense. Remember that, because before, the other champion did have increased defense and was barely even doing these numbers. So let's try with this. It's not going to do anything for those shields. But if they drop that block debuffs, then they're going to end up falling. He's hitting for 20,000 on the AoE, which is pretty good. Yeah, 11,000. Not a crazy high AoE by no means, but also comes back to life. So, all right, guys, there we go. I guess that's the a decent comparison. If you have Tormin, he's just going to be better. I personally don't see a situation where Branchbreak, whatever his name is going to be really used. Now, whether I go for him or not, that's a different story, because I may still want to go for him to get him, part of the whole collection thing. But as far as a useful and viable champion, I just don't see it, honestly. Just don't see it. We'll do a few more fights, just because I know not for sure where I'm going to cut this video at, because I did do a portion of it without him having any Helm Smasher, no masteries, and his necklace was not crit damage. So we'll put him back into the set that Tormin has currently. We'll try this a little bit more. So we'll go into the arena again. It's going to be the best place to test him because he's not really going to be that used many other places, I don't believe. We'll go these two. Shuzin and Sify. Let's see how this works out. That's the wrong champion. He has literally no gear on him. There we go. Mr. Branchbreak. Go A2. I mean, it's an AoE skill. And it's not even doing enough to kill even the Senna. It's doing 70 or 80,000. It needs to be doing a lot more. That's with a shield as well on me. Now, Harima is making that do less damage, unfortunately. Still, it's just not looking that good. I'm trying to make him look good, too. I'm trying to make him look decent, at least. He kills a Fabian, which makes sense. He should kill him. But as far as anybody else, he's not doing anything to them. And then everything's removed. So Fabian's a beast. We already knew that, though. And everybody else is it's just... Honestly, guys, my opinion for Branchbreak is that if you're going to go for him to collect him, great. But I definitely wouldn't have any sense of fear of missing out on this champion. In the future, he could be buffed, of course. But you're not going to be missing anything right now. I don't think he's going to be coming into any meta teams, nothing like that. He just doesn't have a very Void Legendary kit. If I pull this champion, I would not be happy. The block damage, the block revive is cool, but doesn't do extremely threatening damage without increased defense and a shield and all this kind of stuff. The shield doesn't affect this, but this just doesn't scale very well. It's very difficult to get a scale. Placing increased defense on his 4th turn is way too late to do that. It should be the 1st turn at least, and then the 4th, maybe like starts the first turn and then the fourth does it. That could be acceptable possibly. This is just kind of dangerous for Hydra. It is AoE stuff, which is good, but honestly, my opinion is just not that great of a champion. So guys, let me know what you think down below. Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully you have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see how the event actually looks tomorrow. If there's an epic involved in the event as well, maybe I am even more enticed to actually go for it. But either way, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.